So now that we have everything else set, we have our legs set, and we have our arms and shoulders, upper torso is all set. Now we got to take a look at the midsection adjustments. Let's start with this. Number one, make sure you come in lean enough. That's going to allow you the most freedom when it comes to how you're going to manipulate your midsection. You're not going to have to feel like you're contracting too much or putting too much tension on the midsection if you don't want to, as long as you come in lean enough. Now there's two main ways to go about adjusting the midsection. We either actively contract and tense our abs, getting a better display of the abs, or we suck in our midsection and our stomach to help create a more vacuumed appearance. If you're able to hit a vacuum pose, by all means, hit that while you're performing this pose. But for the majority of people who can't hit a vacuum pose, this just entails sucking in the stomach and giving your abs a more stretched out appearance. So let's start with the first one, guys. Let's take a look at the pros and cons of applying tension and contracting the rectus abdominis. Number one, we have to think about this. If we are contracting the rectus abdominis, we're going to end up pulling our torso slightly forward, because that is the job of this muscle group. It applies tension, and when it contracts, you think of a crunch movement, right? So if I'm crunching while I'm hitting this pose, yes, I'm definitely going to have a nice display of the abs, but I'm also going to feel smaller, and I'm going to create a smaller look by forcing myself to lean forward just slightly. So this can be seen in other poses as well, not just this pose, but also the front lat and your front relaxed pose as well, guys. We have to make the choice. We either suck in our stomach, stretch out our body, and give us a little bit of a taller, bigger appearance, or we crunch down on the abdominals and we actually get better ab definition somewhat, but possibly lose some size while doing that. Now, if we decide to go the other route and we actually want to suck in and stretch out our midsection and make it look slightly bigger and taller, then that's simply all you do. You blow out the air, you suck in your stomach. Again, if you can hit a vacuum, by all means do it. But this is going to give you a little bit of a bigger appearance. You're going to feel bigger, you're going to feel slightly wider. And if you come in lean enough, then you'll still have a good enough display of your abs for it to still look good. Again, guys, if you're lean enough, this pose will still look good even if you're not contracting and putting much tension on your core, on your abs. Now, interestingly enough, this is what I suggest people to do when they did not come in lean enough. I suggest they do stretch out their midsection slightly to go ahead and divert attention from the midsection. Because if you were not lean enough and you came in contracting and crunching your core down while hitting this pose, you run the risk of having some layers of fat being very noticeable. So there it is, the two main midsection adjustments. I want you guys to practice this and take a look in the mirror, because again, it does come down to personal preference. Some people look great when they crunch and contract their midsection when hitting this pose. Some people don't look so good doing that. Alright, and the same goes for when you stretch out your midsection a little bit. Some people look great doing it, some people don't look so good. So it's personal preference, guys. I cannot stress this enough. So that wraps up our front double biceps how to pose video. Go over each segment again and go ahead and follow along. Practice, make sure that you're able to perfect this pose specifically towards your own body. So try the techniques that we've talked about in this video, and you know what? Go even further and step outside of the box. Try even newer things, something different, because again, the guidelines for these poses, when you really look at the rules, they're very loose. They're not as strict as a lot of people think. So, as a beginner competitor, don't get the idea that you have to go up there and hit this pose in one certain way. Now, that being said, obviously don't go up there and make a fool of yourself by doing some insane variation of this pose, but please feel free to experiment with new things and really perfect it to make sure that you look your best. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you learned a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.